Hi guys and welcome to our channel. Social media and its consequences to the African woman. When we talk about social media has its pros and its cons, just like any other thing in the world. But we're going to be looking at it from the perspective of how it has affected the African woman and their mentality. Before social media came to existence, most of our ladies or our women in the African continent had role models. And most of their role models were people they see within and around them, their community. And those were people who were traditional in nature, and people who had the traditional upbringing and background. Also, before social media, a girl who's 18, who's young, if she wants to meet somebody, would tell her parents that she's going to meet somebody, she's going to talk to somebody, and before she goes, as in meeting was done in person. Most of the meetings pre-social media was done in person. If you're going to meet a guy, you met the guy in person. If you're going to meet a girl, you met her in person. It's not, there was nothing like this culture of swipe right, swipe left, you know, that has been like a scourge. And when I ask the question that social media and its consequences, rather, when I say social media and its consequences, what I mean in that sense is, I'll give an example. Social media has exposed the female children to a lot of dangers. You know, you look at the rising case of female killings. When somebody goes on social media and posts a job, okay, like in these parts, a post like, we have a job offer on social media, contact us at this page or come to this address. Sometimes you don't see these people in person before you even go into that place, and you don't know if they are killers or kidnappers. You just go with what you see on social media, and then you go there, and then sometimes or most times these ladies or these women get assaulted. But I don't want to go too broad as regards the dangers of social media. I want to narrow it down to how it relates to relationship concept and marriage. The reason why I feel social media, or I believe social media, has caused a lot more damage when it comes to women, African women in this case, is because African women, most of them had an orientation that they were brought up with by their parents. But social media has brought about freedom. And that's the problem. When you have too much freedom, it becomes a curse. A perfect example is growing up. If you meet a girl on the street or on the road or in a public place, and you say hello to her, you try to talk to her, because she knows that is the main place, or she already knows that her meeting you in that place, that is it. Okay, you've met a guy in a restaurant. The guy is good looking, the guy is not bad, and the guy says hello, he's trying to talk to you. You are most likely going to want to listen to what he has to say. But in today's world, you see a young girl that has probably 200, 300 people in her DMs. Some 500 in her DMs. The level of validation is so high. And again, these 200, 300 people that are all up in her DMs are not necessarily good people. But just because they make her feel like, or they tell her the things she wants to hear, you're beautiful, you're this. Imagine, you look at it from the perspective of a human being. Imagine on social media you have like 200 people in your DMs trying to talk to you. It's going to get into your head. And before you know, you start feeling like you're invincible. Social media has made a lot of women feel like they are what they are not. And therein lies the problem. Social media has led to false sense of self, overvalued, inflated ego among African women, where you see African women who have forgotten their morals, who have forgotten their standards, just look at it and be like, oh, I am this, I don't have to do anything. No, you still have to. The core foundation of marriage and relationship still exists. It doesn't go anywhere. If you're telling me that because you have 200 people on your social media platform who are saying hello to you, that means you are the in thing, or you're the thing, and there's nothing else that you bring to the table, all you're telling me there is just that you are just good enough for one thing, which is sex. And this is why relationships and marriages collapse so easily these days. This is one of the key reasons: social media. Social media has made a lot of our African women feel, believe, see themselves as gods because of the excess validation they get. There's so much validation on social media. There's so much begging on social media, in terms of, you see a lot of men who are even married go on social media and are hunting for young women, hunting for all kinds of girls, and are willing to pay. I dare say it has also taken prostitution to a whole different level, where now you don't have to stand on the sideway or on the road to get a client. It's on social media, all over social media. The high level of prostitution on social media is overwhelming. It is really overwhelming. And we as Africans, we are hit with this so bad. I was on a social media platform the other day, and I could tell you that a good 60 to 65% of the women I saw were all into some level of prostitution and were willing to give sex for money, in return for money. And these were women within the ages of 21, 22, 23. It's crazy. How has it become so normal for you just to be able to sell yourself? All thanks to social media, and the fact that social media has made it so easy. Social media has its positives, I must say, when it comes to business, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to networking. Social media has made the world a global village. You know, it has made it one. There was a time where before you could talk to somebody who is on the other part of the world, you needed to call the person, you needed to write a letter. Now, no. You see that person in real time. You do a video call, you do a FaceTime. But social media has made it bad for our African women, because the tool has put something in their hands that is freedom, and it has made them feel they don't really need to have certain values anymore. I'm not just going to limit it to the women alone. I'm going to talk about it on the other side. But today's topic is for the women. A lot of the women, social media has done more damage. A lot of the African women has done more damage to them than to even the men. You meet a girl and you're trying to, maybe a serious suitor is trying to talk to her. She's probably an average lady, and the guy probably is an average guy as well, trying to talk to her. Maybe he's interested in getting married or interested in going into a serious relationship. But she's going to blow him off because she has 250 people on her inbox waiting to talk to her, waiting to give her money, offering her gifts, offering her this, just to see her picture. As a human being, it will mess with your psyche and your head. You know, we're in a situation whereby social media has led to indiscipline amongst our African women. Our African mothers didn't just spread their legs. Okay, I wrote this down. I saw it somewhere. I saw this somewhere. It says African mothers didn't just spread their legs and rape babies even when there were little to no contraceptives back then. But look at the typical modern woman and how indisciplined they are. They have, for how much indiscipline they have for themselves and their bodies, spreading their legs and getting pregnant for just about anybody. You see a 25-year-old with 2 kids from 2 different men, talking about have standards. You know, this is part of what social media has done. This thing I just read now is part of what social media has done. You go on social media, you see a woman that will tell you that, listen, I have 2 babies. by two different men, and I have standards. What kind of standards? And I'm talking about an African woman saying that you have standards. Are you kidding me? You should have had standards when you were spreading your legs for those two men. For those men to get you pregnant. What happened to your standards? This is part of the dangers and part of the things that social media has caused amongst our African women. African women used to be some of the best. When you talk about morals, when you talk about values, they used to be some of the best. You could not bend. Sometimes we used to even go, when we travel abroad and then you see how some women behave over there, you're like, wow, I'm an African woman, they're priceless. You know, we need to protect them because they will not give in like that. But now it's so easy. It's appalling. You know, social media, everybody is pandering. You see a woman who is you see a woman who will tell you stuff like, if you ask a regular woman, like, what do you bring to the table? And they will say, what I'm saying in essence is the social media culture has exposed our African women to things that ordinarily they should not be exposed to. It has, you know, when they say something becomes too available, what happens to the value? The value drops. Social media has made sex too available to everybody. You could just sit in your living room and just look on one of those platforms and just swipe, and then you just negotiate, and then that's that. It's done. That's what social media has done. So now the whole space is awash with sex. That's what it's awash with. Everybody giving it up. And then there's no value anymore. There's little or no value because everybody thinks it's cool. It's the in thing to just give it up. It's the in thing to be a baby mama. It's the in thing to not have values. It's the in thing. No, it's not. Because by the end of the day, you are hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself eventually. Any woman that is worth anything should value herself first. And when I say value yourself, I'm not saying value yourself after you've become a baby mama to somebody, then all of a sudden you want to value yourself. It doesn't make any sense. You're already a baby mama and then all of a sudden you want somebody to pay a higher price for what someone didn't. No, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm talking about valuing yourself from the onset, from the beginning, understanding that. So regardless of social media, as an African woman, I would not let somebody put me in a position where I would have to be struggling for the rest of my life. Like I said in previous videos, growing up, it was unheard of to see women, African women that had babies outside of wedlock. It's just unfortunate that social media has put us in this position where it has kind of devalued a sense of value, a sense of moral, and a sense of relationship. Having said that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.